Imagine standing on a shore, not of water, but of stars. The waves before you are not of salt and spray, but of time, space, and light. This is the cosmic ocean Carl Sagan invites us to sail across. In his timeless masterpiece Cosmos, Sagan takes us on a journey that stretches from the birth of the universe to the birth of human thought, from ancient libraries to distant galaxies. It's not just a story of science. It's a story of us, of how we came to be and what our future might hold. Carl Sagan opens Cosmos with a reflection on our place in the universe. He reminds us that humans have always sought to understand the heavens, from ancient civilizations who tied everyday life to celestial myths, to modern scientists uncovering the physical laws that govern everything. He laments how humanity has grown distant from the cosmos, treating it as remote and irrelevant. Yet science has revealed something profound. We are part of the universe. The atoms in our bodies were forged in the hearts of stars. We're a way for the cosmos to know itself. Sagan then recounts how Cosmos was born from his work on the Viking mission to Mars. While the public ignored this triumph of exploration, he saw an immense hunger for wonder. The television series and this book were his way of reigniting that curiosity, to remind us that science is not cold logic, but poetry written in the language of stars. Chapter 1. The Shores of the Cosmic Ocean. Carl Sagan opens the journey standing on what he calls the shores of the cosmic ocean, a metaphor for humanity's first steps into understanding the vastness of the universe. He invites us to imagine that every speck of light in the night sky is not merely a star, but a distant sun surrounded by worlds of its own. There are over 100 billion galaxies, each home to hundreds of billions of stars, and in all probability, countless planets. Sagan's tone evokes both awe and humility, reminding us that our small blue planet is just one grain of sand in this cosmic expanse. He explains how humans have long sought to measure and comprehend their place in the cosmos. Among the most profound examples is Eratosthenes, who, with nothing but a stick, sunlight, and reason, calculated the circumference of the Earth more than 2,000 years ago. By comparing the length of shadows in two cities, he proved the planet was round and astonishingly measured its size with only a small margin of error. Sagan calls this one of humanity's first great scientific triumphs, a testament to our capacity for curiosity and critical thought. From Eratosthenes, Sagan moves to the Library of Alexandria, the intellectual heart of the ancient world, where scholars once gathered to study the stars, the earth, and the human mind. It was here that figures like Euclid, Archimedes, and Hypatia made discoveries that still shape science today. Yet, Sagan laments its destruction, an act he sees as symbolic of humanity's recurring tragedy, the fear of knowledge. The burning of the library, he says, was more than the loss of books. It was the silencing of the collective wisdom of an age. He concludes the chapter by zooming out once again past cities, continents, and our entire planet, until Earth becomes nothing more than a delicate blue point adrift in the dark. This perspective, he says, should inspire not despair but reverence. Our fragility is precisely what makes our existence precious. The surface of the Earth, he writes, is the shore of the cosmic ocean. From it, we have only begun to dip our toes into the water, with the promise of infinite discovery ahead. Chapter 2. One Voice in the Cosmic Fugue. In this chapter, Sagan turns from the stars to life itself. He examines how, from the chemical chaos of early Earth, biology emerged, a single thread of life weaving into the grand cosmic fugue. All life on Earth, he explains, shares the same molecular foundation, the language of DNA. Every plant, animal, and human being is a variation on a single theme composed over billions of years. Sagan recounts the famous story of the Haika crab, whose shell bears the face of a samurai. Japanese fishermen, believing these crabs carried the spirits of ancient warriors, would throw them back into the sea rather than eat them. Over generations, crabs with shells more closely resembling human faces survived and reproduced, an example of artificial selection driven by human belief. Nature, Sagan points out, operates in a similar way, but through natural selection, a patient, impersonal sculptor shaping life over eons. He elaborates on the work of Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace, whose discovery of evolution explained the diversity of life through small, accumulated changes. Sagan marvels at the elegance of this process, nature as both artist and editor, endlessly revising its work. Evolution, he insists, is not merely a theory, but a fact revealed in the bones of extinct species, in the genetics of living creatures, and even in the symphony of our own anatomy. Life, Sagan concludes, is the cosmos becoming aware of itself. We are, in every sense, descendants of stars and time, one voice in a universal chorus of being. Chapter 3. The Harmony of Worlds. Here, Sagan explores the music of the cosmos, the mathematical order that governs planetary motion. He introduces Johannes Kepler, a man who sought divine harmony in the heavens. Kepler inherited centuries of flawed data and mystic ideas, but transformed them into the precise laws that describe how planets move around the sun. His discovery that planets travel in elliptical orbits rather than perfect circles shattered long-held beliefs and helped lay the foundations for modern physics. Sagan portrays Kepler not just as a scientist, but as a man driven by both faith and wonder. To Kepler, uncovering the structure of the universe was a form of worship, a way of reading the mind of God. Yet his breakthroughs came from a deeper devotion to truth, not dogma. The harmony Kepler found was not mystical, but mathematical, the rhythm of gravity and motion. Sagan uses Kepler's story to illustrate a central idea of cosmos, that science and spirituality are not enemies, but partners in the human quest for meaning. Understanding the laws of nature, he says, reveals not the absence of wonder, but its truest form, the universe as an infinite, unfolding symphony. Chapter 4. Heaven and Hell. Sagan shifts focus to the worlds of our own solar system, examining how myth and imagination gave way to observation and science. For centuries, Venus was imagined as a lush paradise, a twin of Earth covered in tropical forests. But the reality revealed by space probes is far more dramatic. Venus is a hellish inferno, its surface hot enough to melt lead, its atmosphere thick with carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid clouds. The discovery, Sagan notes, was a sobering lesson in the power of the greenhouse effect, a warning of what could happen to our own planet if we neglect our fragile atmosphere. He contrasts Venus with Mars, the red planet that once stirred dreams of canals and civilizations. When the Viking landers finally touched its surface, they found a world both desolate and magnificent. Towering volcanoes, vast canyons, and dry riverbeds that whispered of an ancient ocean. Though lifeless, Mars remains a symbol of potential, a world that might someday live again through human hands. Heaven and hell thus becomes a metaphor. The planets remind us that beauty and catastrophe coexist in the universe, and that our fate depends on how wisely we understand the balance between them. Chapter 5. Blues for a Red Planet. This chapter is Sagan's love letter to Mars. He recounts humanity's centuries-long fascination with the red planet, from ancient astronomers who saw it as a god of war to modern scientists who dream of walking its soil. For Sagan, Mars is both a mirror and a mystery. It reflects our longing to find companionship in the cosmos and our urge to explore beyond the limits of Earth. Sagan describes his own involvement with the Viking missions of the 1970s, which became humanity's first successful landings on another planet. The Viking photographs revealed a hauntingly beautiful landscape, endless deserts, crimson skies, and the frozen remnants of ancient floods. Though no clear signs of life were found, Sagan felt that the true discovery was philosophical, that even a barren world can move us to awe. He calls the chapter Blues for a Red Planet, not just as a scientific account, but as a reflection on loneliness and hope. Mars may be silent today, but its silence is not eternal. One day, he says, it might hum with the voices of human explorers and settlers. In reaching Mars, we will not just visit another world. We will bring life to it. Chapter 6, Traveler's Tales. In Traveler's Tales, Sagan celebrates exploration as the defining act of our species. He draws parallels between ancient voyagers, Polynesians navigating by the stars across the vast Pacific, and modern astronauts sailing through space guided by the same curiosity. Both journeys, he argues, spring from the same human impulse, to see what lies beyond the horizon. He reminds us that the risks faced by these explorers were immense. The Polynesians ventured across unknown oceans without maps. Spacefarers faced the void between worlds, dependent on fragile machines. Yet, Sagan insists, the reward is always worth the danger. Exploration expands not just our geography, but our spirit. He compares the Voyager spacecraft to mythic ships, modern-day odysseys carrying messages of who we are. On board Voyager, he reminds us, is the golden record, a time capsule of Earth's music, languages, and images, a greeting to whatever beings may one day find it. Each probe, he says, is a traveler telling the tale of humanity to the cosmos. Sagan closes the chapter with a timeless reflection. Exploration is in our nature. We began as wanderers, and we are wanderers still. Our journeys, whether across oceans or among the stars, are not just about discovery, but remembrance of who we are and where we came from. Chapter 7, The Backbone of Night. Sagan opens this chapter under the glittering canopy of the night sky, a sight that has inspired myths, worship, and science in equal measure. He invites us to imagine what the ancients saw when they looked upward, a river of light, the Milky Way, stretching across the heavens. To them, it was the pathway of souls or the milk of a goddess. To us, it is a galaxy, our home in a universe of billions more. Sagan takes us back to ancient Greece, where thinkers like Thales, Anaximander, and Democritus first dared to suggest that the stars were suns, that the cosmos extended far beyond Earth, and that everything, including us, was made of tiny, invisible atoms. These were radical ideas that defied myth and tradition, and Sagan portrays these early philosophers as the first scientists, people who replaced superstition with observation and reasoning. He contrasts their intellectual courage with the limitations of later ages, when dogma silenced curiosity. The backbone of night, he says, became not a map of the heavens, but a symbol of the human spirit, our capacity to look beyond fear and ask what is truly out there. Every culture that gazed into the night sky saw something of itself reflected back, and in learning the truth about the stars, we discovered something profound about ourselves. Chapter 8, Travels in Space and Time. Here, Sagan explores one of the most mind-bending subjects in all of science, the nature of space and time. He explains Einstein's theory of relativity in his characteristically clear and poetic way, showing how space and time are not separate, but intertwined into a single cosmic fabric, space-time. Gravity, he explains, is not a force pulling objects together, but a curvature in this fabric caused by mass. The Earth orbits the Sun not because it is pulled, but because it moves along a curve in the geometry of space-time. Sagan helps the reader grasp the vastness of cosmic distances by comparing them to familiar scales. A beam of light travels around Earth 7 times in 1 second, yet it takes more than 4 years to reach even the nearest star, Proxima Centauri. He uses this to highlight how the universe is not only vast, but ancient. Looking into space is looking into the past. The light from distant galaxies began its journey millions or billions of years ago. He then discusses time travel, a topic that dances between science and imagination. While relativity permits time dilation, where travelers moving near light speed experience time more slowly, it does not allow the kind of time travel found in fiction. Still, Sagan reminds us that in a sense, every telescope is a time machine. When we gaze at a distant galaxy, we see it as it was long ago. The farther we look, the deeper into history we peer, until we nearly glimpse the moment of creation itself. Chapter 9. The Lives of the Stars. In this chapter, Sagan takes us inside the hearts of stars to reveal the cosmic processes that gave birth to everything we know. Stars, he explains, are born from colossal clouds of gas and dust that collapse under their own gravity. As the pressure and temperature rise, hydrogen atoms fuse into helium, releasing the energy that makes stars shine. This process, nuclear fusion, is the engine of the universe, transforming matter into light and forging the building blocks of life. He describes how stars live and die, some burning steadily for billions of years, others living fast and dying young in violent supernova explosions. When a massive star dies, it scatters its enriched elements, carbon, oxygen, iron, into space, seeding future stars and planets. From this cycle, Sagan draws one of his most famous insights. We are made of star stuff. Every atom in our bodies was once inside a star that lived and died long before the sun was born. He also describes stellar remnants, white dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes, as evidence of the universe's extraordinary diversity and mystery. In learning the lives of stars, we learn the story of our own origin. The universe is not something apart from us. It is our ancestral home. Chapter 10. The Edge of Forever. Sagan ventures to the limits of knowledge in this chapter, exploring how the universe began and how it might end. He presents the Big Bang Theory as the leading explanation for cosmic origins, a moment when all matter, energy, space, and time expanded from an unimaginably dense point. He describes the early universe as a roiling fireball of energy that cooled to form galaxies, stars, and planets. He discusses the cosmic microwave background radiation, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, which serves as evidence of our universe's fiery birth. Sagan then contemplates the ultimate fate of everything. Will the cosmos expand forever, growing colder and darker until stars burn out? Or will gravity one day reverse the expansion, causing a catastrophic collapse? The Big Crunch? He doesn't claim to know the answer, but suggests that either outcome holds its own kind of grandeur. In reflecting on these cosmic destinies, Sagan shows his philosophical side. The universe, he says, is indifferent to our desires, but understanding it gives us meaning. We are ephemeral, but our quest for knowledge connects us to eternity. Chapter 11. The Persistence of Memory. This chapter explores how nature preserves information and passes it forward through time. Sagan begins with DNA, life's memory molecule, which carries the genetic instructions for every organism on Earth. He describes how evolution operates as a long biological memory system, encoding successful adaptations in the genes of living things. He then expands the concept of memory beyond biology to include culture and technology. Humanity, he explains, has invented new forms of memory: language, writing, books, and digital data. Each one extends our ability to remember and build upon the discoveries of those who came before. In this way, civilization itself is a kind of evolving organism, storing information not in DNA, but in libraries and databases. Sagan warns, however, that memory can also be lost. The destruction of knowledge, whether through war, neglect, or censorship, is a kind of extinction. When we forget, we regress. Yet, through science and education, we have the power to preserve our collective memory and continue the story of life's growth. Chapter 12. Encyclopaedia Galactica. Sagan now turns to one of the most compelling questions of all. Are we alone? He envisions a galaxy filled with civilizations, each contributing its knowledge to a grand interstellar library, the Encyclopaedia Galactica. While speculative, this idea serves as a metaphor for the collective wisdom of intelligent life across the cosmos. He discusses the ongoing search for extraterrestrial intelligence, SETI, and the methods scientists use to listen for alien signals. Sagan emphasizes that this search is not fantasy, but science, rooted in radio astronomy and probability. Given the number of stars and planets in the Milky Way alone, it seems almost certain that other intelligent beings exist. Yet, the universe remains silent for now. He speaks with pride and hope about the Voyager Golden Record, which carries Earth's music, greetings, and images into interstellar space. This record is humanity's letter to the cosmos, a declaration that we exist and that we are eager to learn. Whether anyone will ever find it is uncertain, but the act of sending it, Sagan says, is a testament to our species' optimism and curiosity. Chapter 13, Who Speaks for Earth? The final chapter of Cosmos is both a plea and a prophecy. Sagan reflects on the fragility of civilization, warning of the dangers of nuclear war, environmental destruction, and ignorance. The same intellect that has carried us to the stars, he cautions, could also destroy us if guided by arrogance instead of wisdom. He challenges us to adopt a planetary perspective, to see ourselves not as members of competing nations, but as citizens of one world, bound by a shared destiny. The famous image of Earth from space, a tiny blue speck suspended in darkness, serves as a symbol of our unity and vulnerability. In that image, Sagan sees both our greatest peril and our greatest promise. He poses a haunting question. If an advanced alien civilization were to judge humanity, who would speak for Earth? His answer is not political, but moral. Those who speak for Earth are those who speak for truth, for peace, and for the future. Scientists, artists, teachers, and dreamers. Anyone who seeks understanding and compassion is part of that voice. Sagan ends not with despair, but with hope. He believes that if we can harness our curiosity, empathy, and reason, the human story will continue among the stars. The cosmos is vast, but within us burns the same light that once blazed in the first stars. Our task, he says, is to keep it alive, to ensure that somewhere, sometime, the universe will remember that we were here. Carl Sagan closes Cosmos with humility and hope. The universe is vast, ancient, and indifferent, but we are not powerless. Our intelligence, empathy, and imagination give meaning to the void. Science, he says, is not just a body of knowledge. It is a way of thinking, a candle in the dark. We stand at the shores of the cosmic ocean, our future uncertain, but full of possibility. If we continue to explore, to question, and to care for one another, the cosmos will not remain silent. Through us, it will continue to awaken. For small creatures such as we, Sagan reminds us, the vastness is bearable only through love.